but on the same time, we also noticed there are a lot of informations, a lot of misinformation, which may not be constructive if we don't go through the actual tools by itself, or at least get to know the concept behind all this AI and how it can actually be beneficial for our teaching and learning. So again, to add the barakah, because we are here to learn, inshallah, from these two very renowned speakers, let's start with Al-Fatiha. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. And I would also like to welcome all professors. We have a lot of professors, doctors, brothers and sisters from all kuliah. I'm so glad to know that we also have colleagues from almost all kuliah. The list here, I can say we've covered all, Prof, inshallah, including from Gambang, from Pago, from Kuantan. So I'm so glad that this is a concern, and this is something that will facilitate all of our colleagues to learn about the technology as well as the constructive use in the class, inshallah. And just to brief everyone on the rundown of today's program, we will have presentations from each of the speakers. We will start with Prof. Tengku, and then we will proceed with Prof. Wahab. And inshallah, we will have some time at the end of the sessions for the question and answer. Then we will have a short break. After that, I'm going to show you or walk you through to some of the features that you can actually use, specifically on ChatGPT, and what are the things that you have to be careful of if you want to introduce such platform in the class. So we're going to cover that after the two sessions, the very important sessions from Prof. Dato Tengku and Prof. Wahab, inshallah. Okay, to start the session, I'm very sure Prof. Tengku already excited because I've seen the slides already. So Prof, the session is yours. Thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair. Sorry, Prof, your mic is mute. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Good morning. Salam to everybody. So yeah, nowadays wherever you go, people are talking about chat ICT. Okay, and I also a new user of this gadget, and it's very interesting. Yeah. And I'm sure most of you have tried it before. I myself found it very incredible. Yeah, there's many things that we ask, be able to answer by ChatGPT, whether right or wrong, yeah, false or true. That is the question. All right. So I wonder about the engine that lies beyond this ChatGPT. The power of the engine, and whether whatever GPT try to answer our question, can we really rely on it? Okay, where this GPT got the answer and how it got it. So I'm not really sure the detail of the engine, but I can guess the philosophy behind it, because as my area is information retrieval, how you retrieve information from corpus of knowledge that is relevant to you, or you can get the answer from this corpus of knowledge. So I will use a slide. I got 20 minutes, Prof. Mira. Okay, I will try to do it quickly and briefly. Okay, can I share my slide here? Yeah.
Sure, Prof. Yes.
Okay, where is my slide? Oh, there. Yes. I'll get something. Can you see the slide?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, okay. Yes, Prof.
Okay, right. Yeah. So I will touch on information retrieval, question and answering system, ChatGPT, the technology behind those what I call it, application, and also their capabilities. And lastly, I will touch on intelligence, which is concerning artificial intelligence and compared to human being. So,
I'm sorry, Prof.
Yes.
Would it be possible to have it as full screen mode, please?
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, better?
Perfect, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, some of the slides I've taken it from my previous lecture, especially from this my keynote in the International Conference on Semantic Technology and Information Retrieval, because we at that time, I think this is in 2011, we thought that the next coming revolution as far as information retrieval is concerned is information is semantic technology. Yeah, it's true. So semantic technology has come a few years back into the picture, information retrieval, and it served well, but it didn't give the impact as strong as ChatGPT. Okay, and in that conference, I asked what would be the next Google. Okay, which approach to search engine will be applied. We provide the most value, and I say place your bet, and you will be the next search engine billionaire. You know, so that's the question many years ago. So it happened now. ChatGPT answer that I am the next search engine, kind of thing, and make Google shiver. Yeah, Google shivering because they will be losing in this new battle. Yeah. So I want to. Yeah. So web so a very big business. If you can catch 1% of the market share, it worth between 1 to 3 billion US dollar. So there's many angels, venture capital trying to put money in this business. As you know, after 5 days of launching, ChatGPT garner 1 million user. Yeah, the number of users use my money, and they be able to collect more than 20 billion US dollars in terms of investment. So a very great thing. Yeah, this is how Google tried to, many years ago, Google bought MetaWeb. It is one of the semantic technology company. Even Obama, a love story between Google and Obama, because Google collect information, a lot of information, much more than CIA and FBI, that kind of thing, right? Yeah, it started by Larry Page, a PhD student, yeah, and Tiger Brain. That was history. So anyway, many years ago, information retrieval, the model is a bag of words, a keyword. And some say that it reached its historical limit. So we need to find a new technology to drive a search engine. Then came Web 2.0, Web 3.0, which is based on semantic technology. And then I went to a conference in 2008. Professor Lofty Zadeh, the father of fuzzy set and fuzzy logic, brought up the issue, the weakness of this information retrieval and search engine. It's lacking of deductive logic, okay, knowledge discovery in a more meaningful way. So that is question, yeah, how to make this search engine more powerful and be able to discover new knowledge and give you more relevant information. Yeah. So so during that time, the top 3 that people say will improve the search engine is natural language processing, personalization based on the user, the particular user need, and vertical search. You go deeper, yeah, to the subject matter that you're interested. So naturally, so this ChatGPT is based on natural language processing. That is number one. So this been pointed out many years ago. So it's quite interesting to know the engine behind it. Okay, this is the classical approach of information retrieval, whereby you use independent keyword to index document and independent keyword to formulate your query. For example, like your keyword. Normally we use Google. We just give a few keyword. Over here, user defined and function. So you have billion of information, yeah, of site in the internet. So you wonder sometimes how Google be able to recommend information that most probably relevant to you. So and the process taken to do that is only a split second, yeah, not even 1 second, yeah, and be able to deliver to you 1 billion sites that you might be interested. Okay, so it's simple. Yeah, you have the index to document that might be relevant and will deliver to you. So it's independent keyword approach. For where I get to the bottom. Okay, next. Okay, I want to go to this in detail. For every word, every keyword, there is a weight assigned to the keyword based on the document that might be relevant to you. I won't go to the mathematics of it. Okay, this example, user-defined function. That your query, user-defined function, and here Google give you 1.04 billion result in 0.4 seconds. Amazing, yeah. So to me, when I look at ChatGPT, I wonder what's the engine to look like. Okay. Oh, I got problem here. Okay. Here I refer to Rabia's thesis. Okay, Rabia's thesis, which try to incorporate semantic into information retrieval. You see, Google here. Google use independent keyword: 2 small children, ribbon, paper, cut, made, and Rabia implanted association between words. That make more meaningful. Okay, for example, like at the last over here, the last clause over here, Y makes Z. X cut Y. X is 2 small children, and what is Y? Y is ribbon, that kind of. That means instead of just an independent keyword, now you have keyword with relationship, will give more meaning. So that was approach. I thought that would be the killer app, yeah. But we are not be able to implement it fully. So this is example where the relationship between word, even you can do an animation on it. I go further, yeah. Okay, and then you use what called a mathematic review. Anyway, so Rabia, she won 2 gold medals, one in British Invention Show and one in Plaza Innova. Oh, I'm sorry, I got the timing in the slide. Okay, this is what I call it performance analysis of Rabia's work. So the who question, 86% correct. What question, 86% correct. Where, 93%. when 85%, why 62%? So why is very difficult to answer. So I try one question in GPT. It quite nice, nicely done. Be able to answer why question. So you want to experiment on ChatGPT, try this question: who, what, where, when, why, and so forth, right? And see the capability of ChatGPT. On. Okay, this is Sayawani thesis and Mutadi, whereby they go further on to implement semantic into knowledge base, into information retrieval, where now they use conceptual graph. This is very interesting. So I was thinking the next of the project will be the combination of conceptual graph and large language model that be used by ChatGPT in order to ask why and to explain why your engine give that kind of answer. Right now, okay, there's no capability for ChatGPT to explain in detail how it get the answer. Okay. All right. Okay, I just quotation here by a very great scientist, Karl Popper. Human language, the first and most important product of human mind. Then Wittgenstein says that his the picture theory of meaning is saying that every entity in the language describe the relationship between object in the world. That's why ChatGPT use large language model. Yeah, the relationship between words, between sentences, how close those words are, and how frequent it come together. So that is the philosophy, the technique behind ChatGPT on proximity of words and the frequency. Okay, machine learning, a model that power GPT is based on large language model. Yeah, and also the extra is self-attention mechanism that every word be able to calculate its own proximity and its own weight frequency to the next word in the sentence or in the passage. Then it coupled with reinforcement learning from human being. So what ChatGPT does, OpenAI, they have a group of people who try to give question and see the feedback, see the answer given by ChatGPT and give feedback whether the answer is right or wrong, and try to tweak the engine to giving more correct answer. Okay, so this is an example. Yeah, the next token prediction. If you give incomplete sentence, Hannah is a, okay, and ChatGPT be able to continue on the sentence and make a full sentence. Yeah, like filling in the blank. Okay, Hannah is a sister, Anna is a friend, Anna is a marketeer, Anna is a comedian, which is based on the proximity of word. Yeah, Anna and sister, Anna and friend. Yeah, and also the frequency that it happened in the corpus. Yeah, that been trained to ChatGPT. And also, this is another example, Jacob blank reading. Okay, Jacob fear reading, Jacob love reading, or Jacob hate reading. It depends on the corpus that we train, we input to ChatGPT. So there is the what called the basic understanding of large language model. So here, if you put emphasis on reading, and through, in the corpus, there are many people saying that many people hate reading. So the bias here come into the picture, reading associated with hate. But truthfully, Jacob loved reading, yeah, because the emphasis. Where do you put the emphasis on which word, whether on Jacob or reading? So this is a kind of bias that be produced by ChatGPT. Next, okay, this the history of ChatGPT. Okay, use LLM, then it goes to LSTM. Long, short, the term memory, dance, innovation, leapfrog, when they start using the transformer. So now is called generative pre-training transformer, okay, launched by OpenAI. We have GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, and now Instruct GPT and ChatGPT as a product from this engine called GPT, right? Next. Okay. So the engine that power GPT is a neural network, artificial neural network. Okay. So for example, like the input here on the left, Anna is a, then this network will answer Anna is a friend based on the training that they get. Okay. So you can see the number of parameters. GPT-3, yeah, having 175 million parameters to drive it. Okay, this is one of the largest model ever created. So how the parameter that go through transverse through the node of artificial neural network. Okay. So this is roughly show the complexity. You can imagine the VKQS word, question, or passages that create the whole output produced by ChatGPT. I don't want to further. I just want to show you the complexity that's amounted to 150 billion parameter in the whole process. Okay, what they want to? Okay, use cases of GPT. So from GPT, with the engine, now we have ChatGPT. It can be used to create chatbot. Okay, then it can also use for translation. In ChatGPT, you can use this facility to translate from Malay to English, from Malay to Arabic and whatnot. And then text summarization, you can even give a passage from a book or article into ChatGPT and be able to give you summarization of the point in that book or in that paper. Quite good. I've tried a few times, to give a paper and be able to give me a good summary of the paper. And then text completion. GPT can complete your sentences, your paragraph, and can give you the complete essay. I say I want to do, please help me to make a proposal, a research proposal to combine large learning model and semantic technology and this grammar and this grammar, and it give me a complete suggestion, proposal with the executive summary, with the objective, and so forth, and the output that I can get from that project. So content creation, okay, this is good for our teaching and learning. You can ask something to generate articles, story, and other content based on our subject and be able to survive. Even will give a programming, program code, to solve certain problem. Okay, and limitation. One of the limitation I browsed through, what people say. Number one is a lack of helpfulness. ChatGPT doesn't understand what we want, okay? So it will give us the answer which is not relevant to us. But anyway, you can follow up the question, okay, in your chatting session, and ChatGPT be able to understand you better and better. Contain hallucination. This one that reflect non-existing or incorrect fact. Yeah, because of the engine based on large language model. I show you example. That means the connection done is not based on truth, but just based on proximity of words, of sentences, and the frequency of those words with another word. So it kind of create passages, sentences, which doesn't reflect on the fact. Yeah, lack of interpretability make it difficult for humans to understand how the model arrived at particular decision application. So this is very much lacking in ChatGPT. ChatGPT cannot be able to trace back how it get the answer, not like expert system. One of the main component of expert system is be able to explain the decision made, yeah, in order to convince the user. Right? Next one is include toxic or biased content that is harmful or offensive or spread misinformation. Okay, I will show you a few examples of this. Okay, next. Okay, this one. Okay, I try. Who? The who question. Who is Anwar Ibrahim's wife? Anwar Ibrahim's wife is one Aziza, one Ismail. Yeah, that's true. She is a Malaysian politician and the current deputy prime minister. She is not the current deputy prime minister. This is the fact, yeah, where it get wrong. Wan Aziza has been a member of Malaysian parliament since 1999. I didn't check whether the year is correct or not. He is the president of People Justice Party because she is not any longer the president, yeah, which is part of the ruling coalition Malaysia. Okay, you can see from this question, you can see the fact. Yeah, some of the facts is not right. Why Aziza? No, is the why question. Why Aziza is Anwar Ibrahim? Why? Anwar Ibrahim and Wan Aziza were married in 1974. Maybe that's true. I didn't check the fact. They first met while studying at University of Malaya, where they both became involved in student politics. That's not true. Aziza did her medical degree in Ireland. Yeah, they are maybe 5 years age different. Yeah, maybe 5 years age different. So that's not true. So from here you can see some of the fact is not true. That means whether it's information retrieval, whether it's answer question system, whether it's ChatGPT, is up to the user to check, to validate the answer. Only the user know the truth of having more information, more knowledge than those systems. Okay, who is now the who question? Who is Nurul Izzah? Nurul Izzah is daughter of Malaysian politician Anwar Ibrahim and his wife. And blah 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 is most of it. I think is quite correct. How she became his daughter? How? Nurul Izzah Anwar is biological daughter of Anwar Ibrahim and Wan Aziza. Yeah, they were married in 1974. She was born in 1980. Blah 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 blah. Okay, just I tried the WH question, what they call it, WH question, the what, the where, the why, and the how question. Okay. Here, I tried, what about Tengku Muhammad Tengku Sembok? Okay, there only one Tengku Muhammad Tengku Sembok in the world, yeah? So he said Tengku Muhammad Tengku Sembok is a retired Malaysian military officer. I was shocked. I'm not a military officer who had the rank of Brigadier General. So maybe there's some way Tengku Osman Jiwa was, yeah, Malaysian Chief of Armed Forces. Okay, they pick up Tengku, and I happen to work in National Defence University, so they pick up this knowledge. So they kind of try to, based on proximity and frequency, it's not enough frequency to tie me to as a military officer. Okay, because Sembok is known for his expertise in military strategic studies and has published several books and on this. So he's confused. ChatGPT is confused me with somebody else. Okay, so be aware of the answer given by your query. So I put a question ceritakan tentang Arnab dengan kura-kura. Suatu hari di hutan yang hijau, bla bla bla. Very nice. Okay, I don't know how it get this essay, this short story. Dengan belajar dari pengalaman bla bla bla, and also some value. Okay, Arnab menjadi lebih bijaksana dan menghargai perbezaan di antara kita. Okay, mereka kemudian menjadi teman dan saling menghormati dan memperkaya pengalaman hidup mereka di hutan yang indah. Beautiful. So you would like to write story, okay, or novel, you can go first and rewrite. Rewrite. Okay, now we go. Oh my God, it's a little bit, yeah. I've taken already 30 minutes. It's very important. Question of intelligence. Okay, we cannot define intelligence. Nobody can define intelligence, but we can only assess intelligence through behavior. That's why Alan Turing come up with a Turing test, where the chatbot can deceive you that it is human, that kind of thing. So we have many philosophers come up with idea. For example, like Chinese room, you are not understanding, you don't understand Chinese, but you'll be able to answer Chinese question in Chinese. So Shakespeare, this is a Korean room. There's one professor who very good in Shakespeare studies, but he doesn't understand English. So he acquired his knowledge of Shakespeare through translation. Okay, years ago, in 2017, maybe earlier, 2007, I asked this question. Okay, can a computer answer your pantun? Yes, it does. It can. I give a pantun. Okay, give him pantun and he reply me with a pantun. Buah cempedak di luar pagar, ambil galah turun jolokkan. Saya budak baru belajar, salah turun jolokkan. So ChatGPT answer, buah cempedak, use my word, buah cempedak di luar pagar, ambil galah turun jolokkan. Tunjukkan kepadaku yang baru belajar, sesungguhnya ilmu itu tak pernah berakhir selamanya. So in terms of pantun, the rhythm is not really correct. But anyway, so I will come to conclusion. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ar-Rahman, allama Quran, khalaqal insan, allamahu bayan. In the translation of Yusuf Ali, al-bayan being interpreted as intelligent. Okay, bayan, intelligence, speech, power, expression, capacity to understand clearly the relationship of things and to explain that. So, right. So I start to compare human being with robot. So most of it we use algorithm and electronic sensor. But of course, robot have no soul, have no fitra. Alastu rabbikun, qalu bala, that kind of thing. Yeah, when we being created, there's a fitra in us. So we cannot compare human being, and so don't worry, robot won't take our life away from us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sorry for taking a bit much more time.
No, thank you, Prof. It's perfect. I think we have all the items that we need to cover, especially on the rationale behind the engine and how it's actually being developed across time. So this is not new. Okay, so for those who are panic, why is it new? It's not new. It has been developed across many years. It's just so happened that we do have one new product probably that hits the communities because of this happened after the pandemic, and we are so worried people might actually misuse it. So now we have learned about the strength, the weaknesses, the rationale behind the development of this. But now we're going to have a look on the other aspect, especially now we have that Prof. Wahab here. He's the expert, especially for perceptive, cognitive computing. I'm not sure so many jargons, but that's the whole thing about Prof. Wahab. When it comes to the thinking, the brain, he is the expert because we have both expert here, the expert from information retrieval and the perception, the expert from perceptive domain. So we're going to have a look how the informations complete each other, and hopefully this will help us internalize it is just a tool, it is just a technology, how you use it that will make the difference, inshallah. So thank you, Prof. Dato Tengku. Let's proceed to the second session first, and we'll have the question and answer after Prof. Wahab session. Is that okay, Prof. Tengku?
Okay, yes.
Right, thank you. Prof. Wahab, the session is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, let me see. Let me share my slide here. Slight problem. Hold on. I don't know why I cannot share. Yeah.
Do you want me to help, Prof? If you don't mind sharing in WhatsApp, I will try to display from my screen, inshallah.
Okay, let me try again one more time. I will see.
Or shall we open one question first while
Yeah.
is that okay?
Hold on, let me just quit.
Okay. Okay, so seems Prof. Wahab was disconnected. Is disconnected. If anyone would like to ask questions, can we open one question first before we proceed with Prof. Wahab session? Any burning questions for Prof. Tengku? Feel free to unmute your mic. We actually allow you to unmute the mic.
Assalamualaikum. Can I ask maybe the first question?
Sure, Prof.
Yeah, now that we have started to see, some authors, in their publication citing ChatGPT as part of the, references. So which means, they probably could refer to an article that is generated using ChatGPT. But since we have seen in the examples given by Prof. Tengku, that, certain, some of the generated text or paragraph may contain certain facts which is not true or not recent due to the lack of frequency and proximity. But if you don't verify them, maybe we could be citing something which is not the truth. So maybe Prof. Tengku can advise us on something like this on this issue.
Thank you, Prof. Rahman. Okay, a very, very good question. Okay, in the area of information retrieval, years ago, okay, from 1950s, it's been stated that whatever this information retrieval system try to deliver to you, hello? Okay, try to deliver you the answer. So beware of it. Only the user know which the correct and which is relevant, which is not relevant. So the onus fall back to the user to make decision. So as been said that there are falsehood, been delivered. It's not true. So, but of course, when we want to write paper, we go through Google and we Google all the information, we read, and lastly, we will write our own sentences, our own essay, our own passage based on. So to me, it's okay to go to ChatGPT and make use of it and to read the information given by ChatGPT, and at the end of the day, you yourself that do the essay, do the writing, not just to cut and paste entirely, Okay, that's my opinion. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Rahman.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Rahman and Prof. Tengku. So the due diligence is still applied, that we have to check the fact, check the content again. Okay, so thank you very much. Now we have Prof. Wahab back on the session. Prof. Wahab, do you want to?
Can you see my slide now?
Yes, it's very clear.
Okay. Let me go ahead. Okay, what I will do is that I will just focus on the use of AI in general. As you know, AI, people call it artificial intelligence. It started off with what we call the artificial neural network. And then after that, we add in what we call the fuzzy logic and so forth. And now you even have what we call the EFAN, evolving fuzzy neural network. And these are all the things that we have been using, especially in the ChatGPT. If you realize that fundamentally, they are using this concept of the artificial neural network plus maybe the fuzzy and so forth, as what Prof. Tengku has put it up. But the focus is more on what we call the natural language processing. And a lot of things like text processing and so forth is being done in ChatGPT. In fact, there are other sites, if you notice, that it can even allow you to design, to draw, very nicely. Like if you want to do what do you call it, the infographics, they can even help you in drawing infographics and so forth, based on this artificial intelligence. But what I'm going to do here is just give you some idea of what we have used AI, and these are the real thing that we have done. And also at the same time in the Kulia, we have also have this neuro digital lab, which will be functioning very, very soon. And we are going to use the AI method to do neurofeedback, okay, for people with mental problem and so forth, okay, other than just talking about it in terms of the pervasive computing and brain development research, okay? So let me quickly go through with you. There are three things that I would like to give you examples. One is how we actually use AI to do early detection of children with learning disabilities, especially those with autistic children. And then how we do behavior correlation between the psychological instruments and also this using the brain. We actually have the brainwave patterns, and from there we try to identify the type of behavior you are. And the other thing we are looking at is also porn addiction, and we work together with the Indonesian counterpart. In this case here, we extract the brainwave patterns while they are using the what do you call that, psychological instruments to actually determine whether these particular kids have porn addiction or not. Okay. And if I have time, I will show you some of those details on what are the things that can be done, cannot be done, as far as AI is concerned. Okay. First of all, we use a lot of what we call affective space model. This is the Russell affective space model, where you can see as far as the what do you call that, the emotion, you can have valence and arousal. Valence are the unpleasant and pleasant, and then the arousal is the activation and the deactivation basis function, basically. That's what it is. I just want to give you, in this case here, how do we detect early detection of autistic children and how we go about doing it. In the previous method, what people has done in doing the early detection is that you do both the psychological instruments and also you do a time domain analysis without any use of AI. But what we have done is that we have introduced, in this particular case, the AI techniques, where you can see we actually extract the features from the various brainwave patterns, and then after that we classify it using AI, and then we can extract whether this particular children is just a normal children or is it having a problem, what we call the ASD or autistic children. Okay, so therefore in this case here, we have done it and we actually have children, 13 of them, between 9 to 13 years old, 15 children. We have actually done it, and we have worked together right now with Penawa Hospital, and there is a center that we work together with Penawa Hospital to do an early detection of these children with learning disabilities based on AI techniques. This is in Taman Melawati. Okay, so if you look at Taman Melawati, there is what we call the PSLC, Penawa Student Learning Centers, and in there they have been using our method in extracting children with learning disabilities. Okay, these are the examples of how we actually do it. We have the EEG machine, which you can see the children is actually using the cap with the EEG device, and then they will be watching movies and so forth. And then from where we can identify now the differences between children with autistic and children and the normal children. For the blue color is the normal children, whereas the red color is the children with the learning disability. And here I have on the left side, these are the control subjects, and you can see, of course, not that straightforward, you know. These are the normal children, and for the children with learning disabilities, you can see there is a U shape, okay, indicating children with learning disabilities. Okay. Now I make comparison between the time domain approach and also the NPIA, which is our approach using AI techniques. And they are almost similar in this particular case, but you can see the distinction between our approach and the time domain approach. In the AI approach that we have used, you can see the U shape like in subject B, which is very distinct. And whereas in subject A, you can see the differences between the normal children and also the what do you call that, the autistic children. Okay, and we also include, other than that, what we call the ASD tests when eyes open. During eyes open and eyes closed, it is very important for we to identify whether children have got this problem with learning disabilities. Okay. And this is what we have found. I only take up 5 subjects here, but there are more. If you are interested, we can actually show you more. But for this particular presentation, I only shows you 5 of them. Okay. So these are the differences between the just now with the eyes open and this one with the eyes closed. Okay, so we have done both, and these eyes closed and eyes open are really very important, especially this is what we call the resting test state. Okay, so in summary, yes, we have used the AI techniques, comparison table, existing model, and proposed AI techniques. In figure 2 and figure 3 have shown that for both eyes closed and eyes open, we can identify children with learning disabilities quite well. So in other words, AI has really helped in this particular case. Inconsistency in the results of subject C and D for eyes closed and eyes open, respectively, using the time domain approach, seems to be not very useful. But the AI approach here has indicated that it is a far more robust approach in this particular case. So therefore, we have basically take a look at the alpha beta power ratio. And that is also another techniques that we can use to identify children with learning disabilities, especially in this case here, we're talking about autistic children. Okay, so therefore with these particular techniques, now Penama Hospital do not need to do any more fMRI, which cost them around 1,500 ringgit per scan. So in this case here is only like 150 ringgit using our techniques in this particular case. Okay, I want to now switch gear and shows you the second examples here where how can I actually identify individual personality. Okay, we use the 5-factor personality behavior, and in that 5-factor, of course, we can detect neuroticism, extroversion, openness, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. These are the 5 factors that you can use the psychological instruments to identify them. But in our case, we are looking at the emotion of the individual by looking at the brainwave itself. So we try to identify the happy, fear, sad, and calm. And from these 5 different emotions, so we try to identify whether this particular individual is any of the 5 personality that you have, come across for some of you. Okay. So in fact, it's quite interesting. We actually make use of the neural network. We use what we call the MFCC. This is a male frequency capture coefficient for some of you. This is a very fundamental types of neural network that allows you to try and classify the different emotion in this particular case by extracting the EEG waves. Okay. And from there, we can then extract the valence and arousal. And from the valence and arousal, we have a very good idea, what are the kind of valence and arousal that we have at the resting state. Okay. These are the protocol that have been used. And with that protocol, we now have a very good idea as far as the emotion state of that particular individual. And we can now correlate with the 5-factor behavior. Okay. Now, when we were doing the psychological instruments allow you to either use the T-score, okay, or the trait. Okay, in this case here, we have both. Okay, that we actually make a correlation to the emotion that we extract from the brain waves. Okay, and with that correlation, we have a very good idea. Some of the subject, like 3 of them, subject number 8, 22, and 23, somehow or other we have problem with their brainwave signals, and that is because of the what do you call that? I think the hair problem. The hair is just too thick. Okay, and then we cannot measure the EEG waves that well. But other than that, all the rest of the other subjects out of the 22 subjects, we actually did measure them and have a very good signal. We do a very simple kind of correlation. And this one here is based on statistical correlation rather than the AI correlation. In fact, the extraction of the happy, fear, sad, and calm for the valence and arousal, we uses the AI, whereas for the correlation, we just use a simple statistical correlation. This one gives us a very good idea. In the end, we can now have a model that are able to predict each individual behavior, either based on the arousal of calm, the valence of calm, valence of sad, valence of fear, or valence of happy. Okay, so these are the different models that we have derived, and we found that the error rate, in almost all of them is less than, is around 20%. In fact, some of it, like for the neuroticism, you can see that if we use the arousal of the calm, we can have around 10%, okay, error rate. Okay, in other words, accuracy is almost 90%. Okay, so those are the things. I just want to show you how we actually make use of AI. And this is very useful because with this, we have a very good idea of the different personality as far as the individual, which is fairly accurate in this particular context because it's based on whatever the psychological instruments that we have, and this is more consistent. Okay. These are the models that we have used. Okay, and I think the last one I want to show you is more of the how we try to identify children, okay, with addiction. Okay, these are more focused on the porn addiction. So both as far as the psychological instruments, the psychologist uses their own instruments and interview the parents and their teachers, because these are students below 10 years old. So they have to actually interview the parents and teachers. Okay, whereas for us, we actually extract the brainwave information, and we do the prediction as far as the porn addiction by looking only at the frontal side, okay, of the brainwave, okay, which is very nice. Okay, we also do some words analysis like memorization, and all these are based on some AI techniques, and we extract the affection or affective emotion of the children itself. Okay, let me show you. These are the protocol. Again, almost a similar protocol, but we have introduced both eye closed and eyes open before and also after, just to make sure that the results are consistent. Okay, before and after results. Okay, so participation, we have 14 healthy participants, 5 girls and 9 boys participate in this experiment. Their ages varies from 13 to 15 years old. Okay, and I will show you, okay, in this particular case, the different band, okay, the different band of your brain waves. Normally, delta wave here refers to when you are in deep sleep. But if you are awake and your delta wave is very high, then there is a likelihood that you have a problem as far as the brain functionality is concerned. Theta waves are normally at resting state. Alpha is the normal wave for our brain function. Beta, you have beta 1, beta 2, and also gamma. Beta 1, beta 2 are for motivational purposes. Okay, so let me just show you this one here. This is the brainwave, and just focus on the frontal area. You find that the notch there is actually the nose. Okay, and the frontal area shows you that if the color is red or orange, that means it is active. If it is a blue, it is not active. Okay, so these are children with addiction. Okay, you can see the theta wave has got a little bit of red color there. The alpha wave is mainly blue. Okay, and the beta is a little bit of red. Okay, this is another one with the porn addiction. The psychology says that they are addicted to porn. Again, this one here, you can see that the theta wave is blue, the alpha wave is blue, okay, and the beta wave is more green. Okay, this one here is for non-addicted. You can find that the alpha waves is more red. Okay, the theta wave has got green and orange. Okay, and so forth. Okay, so what we did was we actually did a this is called a fuzzy plot of the findings from our brain waves, and also from the psychological instruments. And you can see these are the alpha wave. Blue indicates non-addicted, and red indicates the addicted individual. Okay, with porn addiction. So that is the kind of plot that we have. And this one here is using the theta wave. We make that comparison. And of course, the last one is the beta wave. Now, as you can see from here, the ideal wave will be the one with a very distinct between the addiction and non-addiction. So therefore here, you can see that using alpha wave, we can extract meaningful differences between children with addiction and children without addiction. Now, in fact, there are situations where within that curve, you see that S7, S8, S2, S4, and S5, these are children that has mild addiction, okay, between the addiction and also non-addiction. And those are the children that we actually did another interview with them, and we did find out more information about their addiction problem in this particular case. Conclusion, addiction can be detected based on the following: analyzing eyes closed for different band. Okay, alpha band of the frontal, only the frontal shows a good potential with strong disparity between addicted and non-addicted. Although theta and beta has been used for detecting ADHD for the hyperactivity and so forth, but for addiction, alpha band activity shows a better detection for addiction and non-addiction. So therefore, this is something that we have done, and we are in fact working again on the next level of this addiction, not just for porn addiction, but also for like internet addiction and so forth, especially for children. So if anybody who are interested to work together with us on this particular area, you are more than willing to work with us. Okay. Okay. My last one is I just want to show you. These are some of the area that we actually develop our own method of extracting features rather than use the MFCC, which is the normal method, that people has used in the frequency domain, or in this case here for extracting features. And this is something that one of our PhD student has actually made use to extract features from the brainwaves pattern, and we use AI techniques again, to, in this particular case, extract the features. And we found that with these particular techniques, we are far better off in getting the feature extraction. And in fact, we almost have 100%, accuracy in this case here, as far as the testing that we have done so far. Okay. So, and this is something that we would love to continue doing our research in this particular case. Okay, so I'm going to basically conclude there for right now. Although there are another one, this one here is using the what we call the cerebellum model articulation controllers. That is the backside of the brain. We simulate the backside of the brain, and we have even another techniques where we can extract features from the brain waves with better accuracy and also with better temporal analysis. Okay, so again, these are some of the information. I'm basically going to stop there, okay, because it's getting too technical in this case here. Okay, this is something that we love to do, but in conclusion, there are lots more can be learned about the human emotions, behavior, and mood is one of the things that we have done. Memory effectiveness, brain developmental disorder, health deterioration like mental health and so forth, depression, stress and anxiety analysis. We have also done that. Mainly all this has been very helpful because we are using the AI techniques or fuzzy neural network to try and help us identify some of these issues and problems that we have been facing. Okay, so thank you very much, Prof. Mira. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Prof. Wahab. If I can sort of conclude from the two speakers just now. Okay, sorry. So from Prof. Wahab, especially just now, he has highlighted on how the brain actually process information, especially when it comes to visuals element. So if we can, again, reflect on our journey in teaching, when we have information in the slides, the students takes a while to process. Now, ChatGPT, most of the information is in text. So I think that's another thing that we have to also concern when we want to bring that activities in the class, how the students, especially we do have some of our students with difficulty in learning, how we can actually facilitate them in using such tools as well. So Prof. Wahab have given quite extensive information on how the brain is actually processing. And Prof. Tengku have highlighted very extensive information on the benefits, limitations of AI and information retrieval, the model behind it, as I've highlighted, summarized just now. So I think it is time for us to sort of process those informations that we receive from these two experts. And if you would like to ask questions to help you internalize the concept as well as the issues behind ChatGPT, please feel free to raise your hand and unmute your mic. You are more than welcome to ask the questions directly to the speakers. Prof. Tengku, do you mind to join us with the cameras open, please? Thank you very much, Prof.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any questions from participants?
I have one very quick one, Mira, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah, it's for Prof. Abdul Wahab. I was wondering, I'm not sure if I caught everything there, but could that be used to predict psychotic behaviors and things of that sort?
Yes, because I mean, as far as we are concerned right now, we have done it with the Panawa Hospital in trying to identify children with learning disabilities that covers ADHD, ASD, and also dyslexic. We have not really looked at things like slow learners and so forth. But this could be the next step that we can do. But so far, it has been very successful. And we have done it and make comparison with the fMRI, and it looks really good, on our side. Other than that, the next one that we are doing right now is together with my friend in Netherlands, which we are looking at the neurofeedback. In other words, if you are a stroke patient, we actually introduce what we call the blended learning, and this blended learning approach help the physical and also the mental of the individual to improve better as far as the recovery for the stroke patient. So I think in this particular case, we have done that. The only thing we are right now trying to do together with the psychology department here is to look at the mental health of our student. So how can we actually predict mental health situation? Can our student be more robust, with the kind of behavior that we can identify during the eyes closed and eyes open? That means during the resting state. If we can do something like that, then I think that would be very good. Then the kind of training that our student, can have will also be helping them on how to handle stress in this particular case, or anxiety for that matter.
No, I'm sorry. My question was more on the nature of predicting, i.e., given a certain set of parameters or characteristics that you may have ascertained from your studies, could you perhaps predict that, let's say, a person is prone or has the proclivity to commit to, for example, self-harm in 3 years' time or 4 years' time, and things of that sort? So it's that person we could consider preemptive measures, i.e., can that be done?
That's why I'm saying on the mental side, because all our work here are more on the brain. So like behavior, so how do we predict if this particular guy can handle stress, how did he handle anxiety, things like that. But if you're talking about other than that, we have not really explored on that particular opportunity.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Jasni and Prof. Wahab. Any other questions, please? Feel free to unmute.
Assalamualaikum. I have two questions.
Sure.
One for Prof. Tengku and one from Prof. Wahab. Yeah, so I'll give to Prof. Tengku first. Basically, it's kind of nice that you actually show how there's limitation in ChatGPT. My question is, if let's say a lecturer were to give an assignment, my question is, what kind of assignment would you give to your students so that the nature of the assignment, even though students use ChatGPT, it is not, they still need to check, okay, what is produced by the ChatGPT, for example. So what are the characteristics of the assignment that we lecturers should prepare? That's my question.
Okay.
Okay. Very good question indeed, but difficult to answer because I'm a new user of ChatGPT. The real power we haven't known yet. But anyway, on the assumption that ChatGPT using word proximity and frequency to give you answer, yeah. Let's say a question in programming classes, yeah. You can ask ChatGPT. Maybe it's quite difficult. Yeah. The problem is not it's not existed yet in the knowledge of ChatGPT, the new problem. Okay, how to solve, for example, like trouble assessment problem and DNA sequencing, if not yet available, maybe quite difficult for ChatGPT to give the answer because it needs creativity. ChatGPT doesn't have creativity. Okay, it has only the knowledge of proximity of word, relationship of word and sentences. That means in group words, I can say it use plagiarism. Okay, it plug, you plagiarize here and there based on what words is given to it. Okay, so based on plagiarism's approach of the existing knowledge, but not creativity. Lacking of creativity, even lacking of the deductive reasoning. If you ask ChatGPT, can you be able to do deduction? The answer is no. No, I cannot. Yeah? ChatGPT itself saying that I cannot do deduction. So you can imagine, yeah, there's no deduction, no creativity. The answer given based on plagiarism method, yeah, similarity between word and sentences. Yeah, I cannot give a specific answer, but based on that, you can plan your question. I don't know whether that will answer the question.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you very much. So creativity, so to embed creativity element as well as updated information inside the assignment in particular. Yeah, okay, thank you very much, Prof.
Yeah.
Can I proceed with the other question? There's someone is raising their hand.
Okay, wait a second. Prof, do you have any thoughts on what kind of assignments would you give using ChatGPT? Or maybe the audio is not clear. Prof Wahab?
Oh, to me, as far as the GPT is concerned, right today, what you have in ChatGPT are more for the they learn from whatever is on the past, and then they try to predict whatever that you want to hear as far as the chat. And with the natural language processing, they actually make sure that the language is being taken care of. But there is also, it could be possible in future, in the near future, in fact, we have what we call the evolving fuzzy neural network. And in the evolving fuzzy neural network, you can actually train the AI itself, which is unsupervised. And unsupervised means it can learn by itself. So this is possible also. And we have done, in terms of looking at EFUN, we call it EFUN, evolving fuzzy neural network, to do prediction, and prediction for evolving fuzzy neural network are based on non-supervised training. But I'm not sure if ChatGPT has gone that far yet, to be able to learn as a non-supervised, because most of the learning that I know, what I have read from ChatGPT, are based on whatever that you type in, whatever that you input in. So this kind of decision are limited in that particular context. Maybe Prof. Tengku can correct me if I'm wrong.
I tend to agree with you, Prof. Wahab. When a machine doesn't have deduction, induction capability, and of course it cannot create a kind of new knowledge. Okay, there's the main thing as far as AI is concerned, knowledge discovery. So regard to the question for student, that means you ask student at the highest category of Bloom taxonomy, that kind of thing. I mean, recall ChatGPT can answer the question. When it comes to synthesis, maybe ChatGPT won't be able to answer that kind of question. The higher hierarchy of Bloom taxonomy.
Yeah, I agree, Prof. There are layers of learning that we can actually leverage. The higher Bloom taxonomy, perhaps we can utilize this, especially because one of the another weaknesses of ChatGPT doesn't have eyes. So if you have pictures or analyze based on pictures, that the students will have to really utilize the visual elements. I think that's another thing that you can leverage as well. Okay, so so that's from Brother Shams. Brother Shams, do you have another one just now? Sorry.
Yes, I have. Okay, this one is for Prof. Wahab. Basically, I remembered, 7 to 8, 10 years ago, I viewed this TED Talk video about, using brain scans and everything to somehow detect, mental illness and etc. there. And one of the problem that was addressed last time was that the accessibility or the availability to the public, because those kind of scanning method, they are very much costly, and therefore the diagnosis usually only rely on qualitative symptom analysis by clinical psychologists. So my question is right now, so now that was 10 years ago. So now when you presented that, I'm very much curious, this method, is it widely or cost effectively available to people to get their self scan, or for parents to get this kind of services easily available without chipping out a lot of money to get this kind of service? Thank you.
Okay, we have actually worked together with Penawar Hospital for students with learning disabilities. We have just signed a MOA with my friend in Netherlands and also with SASMEC. In other words, this kind of test mechanism and so forth, which do not require expensive tools, can now be available soon at SASMEC. We as a AI person, we cannot make diagnostics, but we work together with the medical doctors. And medical doctors, we help the medical doctors to make a better decision right now. In other words, with SASMEC, we're going to start with SASMEC, and we're going to expand this later, maybe start with the whole Malaysia. So this will be our objective, and it will be soon. By the end of this year, inshallah, we will get things take off using these particular techniques that we have, including the neurofeedback. This neurofeedback can actually help like students with ADHD, children with mental type of situation, anxiety, stress and depression. We hope that we can actually get it, to help students with this kind of issues, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much, Brother Shams. Brother Shams.
Prof. Mira, just to add
Yeah,
something on the study of brainwave. Yeah. A few years ago, UPMM, University Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia, we have a project try to study the brainwave of cadet officer in terms of peak performance. When is the characteristic? What is the characteristic of brainwave that make a cadet deliver and perform better, and whether you can do the neuro kind of feedback to increase and enhance the performance of the cadet officer. It's still ongoing. But of course the military is not very happy with that, because because the brain wave, the brain function of Malaysian general, so it's an open secret kind of thing.
I see. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Prof. Tengku. Okay, we have two more hands raised. We have Prof. Nazrul and Prof. Azrin. So would you like to ask a question directly, or do you prefer to write in the chat? I think now that you have your hand raised, you can unmute your mic, please.
Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Azrin. I have a question for Tengku, Sir Tengku. You mentioned that the ChatGPT limitation as creativity, deduction, reasoning, and they're not able to synthesize as well. I saw just now your one question you asked, why Adwa is married, or I'm not sure why something is married, why Aziza or something, someone is married to somebody. And the answer given by ChatGPT on the slides was it didn't really answer the question. So I noticed that. So does that mean that more assessment questions should be on the why something happened?
Okay, if I understand you correctly, the technique used by ChatGPT is matching a word. Why I say why? Let's say the question is why Aziza is a wife of why Aziza is the wife of Anwar Ibrahim. So based on the relationship between word, wife is tied to marry. Okay, wife is also a close proximity to marry and not. So without really understanding, ChatGPT just went for the words. They are close, tied together, in order to answer your question. Just based purely on statistic, frequency of word, and relationship. So it happened that it looks like sometimes ChatGPT answer your why question. Yeah. So the method used by a kind of plagiarize in some of the word based on similarity and whatnot. No deduction, yeah, no logic, as far as I know, yeah, used by ChatGPT, purely based on a large language model. I don't know whether that answer the question. Yeah. So it's difficult whether ChatGPT really answer your what question, where question, and whatnot. Yeah. Because it couldn't, there's no deduction, deductive capability in answering your question, purely based on pattern. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Tengku. And also for everyone's information, there has been a lot of development recently, knowing that possibly the informations from ChatGPT might actually be misused, especially in education sectors. And now the company started to look at, can we detect the answer that was produced by the ChatGPT? So sort of antidote is in the process of development. But again, I think that doesn't mean that we can just take all this technology for granted, because it will evolve, as Prof. Tengku and Prof. Wahab mentioned earlier. Okay, so
I'm sure, given that a few more years, they will embed this capability. Yeah, deduction, induction, capability, reasoning. Yeah, they know this is limitation of them. Okay, I'm sure. Give them 3 years, they come a new killer app. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
With
Thank
emotion.
you so much.
Yeah.
With emotion.
With emotion.
Yeah. My diagram comparing the human being, emotion, where we want to plug emotion. Okay, that is maybe the what I call it one night state automata kind of thing. Yeah. Where
right now we already have the like sentiment analysis and so forth, that uses word analytics to actually try to identify emotion, and it is used in especially for political usage, so therefore in identifying what is your score and so forth during the election, it has been done, so based on the sentiment.
You see my diagram, I also I put beside AI, AW, artificial wisdom, that kind of thing. So now people are struggle how to embed wisdom, above AI.
Yep. Okay, so it's very interesting, and I think we should look forward for the development rather than skepticism. Rather than instill our skepticism, I think we should be hopeful that the technology can help, inshallah. So I think I can open one more question before we proceed with the demo. Unfortunately, we will not be able to have the break because we are running out of time. But if
I put one
Prof.
question
Nazrul-
here.
Oh yeah, Prof. Ibrahim, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. This is Dr. Ibrahim from Kuantan. Yes, sir, I want to ask about the role of AI in decision making, either it is medical or administration, and it is reliability as well.
Sorry, the reliability of the information, is that what you are
No,
asking?
the decision making by the
Decision
AI or computer assisted decision making.
The computerized decision making. How do you mean, or how is the process of this computerized decision making?
Yeah, how it is a process and also reliability of that.
Okay, okay. I think Prof. Tengku would probably better in
Okay,
answer.
yeah, many years ago, people were, they already came out with a decision, what I call it, a decision support system. Yeah,
okay.
decision support system whereby you can make a decision. Okay, so turning like expert system, those rule based. So your decision can be based on rules that you created, yeah, the expert rule, and you embed into the system. And you have a kind of system, they call it knowledge-based system. Yeah, beside rules, you have fact. Yeah, you have deduction method and whatnot. So, ChatGPT, when it say based on large knowledge and model, it doesn't have all these things. What they rely upon the pattern that the pattern of words, the relationship of word and sentences into the engine. So this artificial neural network very good in catching, yeah, in capturing a pattern of the data given to them, whether supervised or non-supervised. So as far as decision is concerned, there are many ways that you can evaluate. When I was at this National Defense University, I was saying to them, when we created drone going to war, drone can be very efficient, very effective killing machine. So, and when drone see a building, and that building doesn't matter whether it's hospital or school, the drone will bomb that building. So the decision based on the knowledge and the rule given by the creator. So I asked them, can we embed wisdom into the drone? For example, when the drone see a building and detect this building is hospital, okay, therefore shouldn't bomb the hospital and shouldn't kill women and children. So yeah, easily said, yeah, the rules that you give to this artificial intelligence to deduct, yeah, to make the decision. So all the rule is coming from human being. Yeah, I don't know whether that's answer your question. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Last, Dr. Nazrul, but seems
Yes,
oh, do you want? Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, if you don't mind. First of all, thank you. You can hear me clearly, right?
Very clear.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, thank you to the both the speakers. I think I learned quite a fair bit about artificial intelligence this morning. My question is a lot simpler and more, I guess, practical. As an academic, as a teacher, as a somebody who conducts classes, I'm just thinking how, as a teacher, we should respond to such a development of an introduction of such a tool like ChatGPT. Should we look at ChatGPT as a threat or as an opportunity? Because I was just coming across this one article. They basically did a survey. This was in the US, and they actually found the result of that survey was that nearly 50% of college students have never even heard of ChatGPT. That's number one. Number two, those who have heard of ChatGPT, the majority of them don't use it seriously. They just do it for the fun of it, and just to fool around. And only a very small percentage actually uses it, to cheat or to do work, to help them with their work. So in fact, I even asked this question in my class, and not a single one of my students have ever heard of ChatGPT, right? So if if we suddenly mention this in the classroom, we are actually maybe presenting them with a tool that would allow them to cheat, that they otherwise would not have thought of, right? But of course, that's one perspective. The other perspective is we embrace. I agree. I think it's just a matter of time before this technology becomes more common, it becomes more prevalent out there, and it's just a matter of time before everybody will have heard of it. So what is the current approach that we should take now? Do we just embrace it, okay, and use it as a tool? Okay, yes, let's introduce this. Let's learn how it can be used to improve our teaching and learning. Or do we, use it as like how we use Turnitin, right? When they submit an assignment, make sure they are not cheating and so on. So I'm just curious about that. What are the thoughts of the speakers? So even Prof. Mira, you may have your opinion on this. Or even maybe, for the university, should we have a policy on this? Should this be discussed at the management level of the university? What is our stand, our approach? Or is it up to the individual lecturers to figure out how do we deal with this new innovation? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Nazrul. Prof. Tengku or Prof. Wahab, do you want to start first?
Okay, Prof, you start first.
Okay. As far as the way I always look AI is always a tools, and the user is responsible. Whatever results, you have to basically look at it. Is it reasonable, not reasonable? But AI is a tool that can help you make a better decision. As the tool learn more about the inputs, you find that it will covers more learning. It will consider more factors, more features, and in the end, it can help you make a better, accurate decision. While we as a human, sometimes we forget a few factors here and there, whereas machine, in this particular case, make sure that they consider all these factors. One of the biggest problem in AI that we have found is overlearning. Yes, it has problem that when AI do overlearn, then it become biased to one particular prediction that it has. That is why even in ChatGPT, sometimes you look at ChatGPT, you can actually identify the kind of learning that it has done, that you can see that, oh, these are the decisions that they will basically be able to make in this particular case and so forth, and these are the results that they will give you. These are because of the learning that it has done. And overlearn is quite something that we do find in any AI techniques because of the limited either computation or data that we are using, or there is biasness in the data itself. But talking about that, what do we do? Like you asked, what do we do as a lecturer? Do we take it? Do we teach our student? To me, what is important right now is that we are aware that this thing exists, and there will be more of this to exist. So what it means is that our way that we assess our student and we teach our student are not that straightforward anymore. It cannot be the same techniques that we have been using. I'm sure right now through the COVID-19, you have realized that having to assess student based on the old techniques where it is basically cut and paste doesn't work anymore. It must be an open book, and in an open book, there is no answer in the book. The answer is basically on your analytics. What do we want to know is how our student actually understand that he or she are able to analyze and bring it to the next level. I think that's more important, than to try and do a cut and paste or memory test. Memory tests cannot work at the university environment anymore. If you are talking about having to just have, MCQ, it doesn't work anymore. Okay, so I think that kind of mindset has to change. MQA has to change the mindset. We have to change our mindset, and we have to try and lead the way in this particular case as far as assessment is concerned.
Okay, Prof. Mira, yeah, I agree with just now, Prof. Yeah. Now, ChatGPT is a toy. To me also, I use, nice, a good toy to play with. Okay, show some intelligence, but also it went wrong at certain places. Okay, let's compare Google and ChatGPT. Google is information retrieval, and it gives you the sources of knowledge, the sanad, okay, where this knowledge come from, who wrote it, where is it published. Okay, you compare these sources of knowledge where ChatGPT derived from, you're not sure, you don't know. There's no sanad, okay? Okay, you cannot determine the correctness and whatnot. So only that it can phrase nicely, it can make sentence, it can create essay based on this knowledge. So I think we cannot live alone based on ChatGPT. We got to use it as a tool, one kind of tool, just like you using hammer, yeah, and you need other tool, saw. So you got to use both of them. Google, you know the sources of knowledge. Yeah, you can verify it. It's very important. Okay. Then come to cheating, of course. In nama malu biniat. If you use Google, you want to plagiarize, you can. If you want to use ChatGPT and you also want to plagiarize, you can. So back to your niat. There are tools since the beginning of time. Human create many tools that can assist us, can help us in our work. Okay, so yeah, to me it's very simple. I embrace technology, but in terms of using it, we got to ask ourselves, what is our niat? Allahu Alam.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with both speakers. I think technology is there to assist, but the use defines the maturity, the knowledge, the ability of the person that using it. For example, the hair dryer is for the hair, but someone might actually use, which just doesn't make sense. But if we use iron to dry the hair, it probably doable. It probably possible, but it's dangerous. So it defines the level of the knowledge, the wisdom, the maturity, the creativity. But once we able to instill that in the class, then this will actually demonstrate the values. But if we still process the information in traditional way, I'm worried this might actually hurt rather than help. So I think this could be one of the things that perhaps we can ponder upon before we introducing the tools. But again, Prof. Tengku rightly mentioned, it's a toy. So probably the lecturer should play around with it for a while to know how we can actually use this in the class. Okay, so if this okay with the two speakers, can I just proceed with the sessions on introducing the tools to the lecturers? Is that okay, Prof?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much. Okay, so I've been receiving quite a lot of questions on the ChatGPT, especially on how it actually works and how we can use it. I'm very sure just now people have started to ask about the antidote, about how we can actually detect the work that is produced by ChatGPT. So we've highlighted that the technology is still evolving. So eventually it will emerge. On the same time, I think what we have to equip is to ensure that we have the skills to bring it meaningfully to the class. So one of the things that that in CPD we observe when it comes to ChatGPT is the concern on the use of it for producing work. Okay, so let me just highlight this perhaps. Okay, so, and there's a lot of concern what happened with the essays that we receive from the students. So maybe this is some of the things that we can also evaluate from our class, because a lot of countries now, a few days ago, I've heard that in Singapore, they will try to introduce ChatGPT to secondary schools, early secondary schools. So in this case, and I think AI tools is not only ChatGPT. If you want to produce a music and you feel like you want to produce a music that's a bit formal for a video background and whatnot, there's an AI tool that actually can help you build that kind of music. What kind of emotions you want to instill in the music and all those kind of things, that there is a tools. It is not ChatGPT, but if you are into music, then there is a tools for that, AI tools. For producing videos, there's an AI tools. For producing visuals, content creations for visual elements, there's an AI tool. So that's AI tool is not only ChatGPT. But what happened with ChatGPT in school? Why people are so anxious with these tools? Prof. Tengku and Prof. Wahab have highlighted earlier. Is because of we are still worried to bring it and whether we can actually introduce it meaningfully. But if other countries can do it, I'm very sure we can also do it with the right approach. If the school students can actually learn on how ChatGPT productively, I'm very sure university students should be able to do it even better because they are in the level of maturity that would be able to process information better. We have actually produced an infographics. Let me just proceed with this one first. We've actually produced an infographic just to get people know what are the things that can be produced or whatnot by ChatGPT. At the moment, ChatGPT doesn't have that visual element, or doesn't have that ability to see or process pictures. So if someone have videos, can you analyze the stories in this video? At the moment, it's not yet to that level. But perhaps if you would like to give those assessment and you are worried that students can actually produce the essay with ChatGPT on particular topics, maybe you should be able to craft which part of the videos, what are the particular scene that you want them to analyze, and that would actually trigger a different questions. Or maybe if you would want to have them use ChatGPT, you can actually ask what kind of query you actually use in ChatGPT and so on. So there are so many things that we can actually leverage on the platforms. Just to give you some ideas, I recently received this from one of my colleagues, and I'm so thankful that there are so many other people have actually started this. Digital Textbook have done a lot on the analysis of ChatGPT, responding to a few renowned entrepreneurs as well as educators that are skeptical with the values of ChatGPT. So this particular group have classified 20 at least on how ChatGPT can actually be used in the classes. For example, it can actually be used to analyze complex informations and then Google, and then used to remix the student works and so on and so forth. So I will be able to, I would be more than happy to share this just in case you want to get some ideas. Now let's get to the platform. I'm very sure everyone here have used ChatGPT before, but if you haven't, you are more than welcome to follow the demo with me. Okay, I'm sorry, let me just go to, okay, so this is the ChatGPT platform. I'm trying to share the screen, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the ChatGPT platform. You are more than welcome to go to OpenAI just in case this is your first time looking at the platform. This is openai.com, which is the company that produced ChatGPT. And the first page, before you actually key in anything, there's some kind of, for me, I put it as warning that you have to use the platform with context. So in this first page, it actually shows the limitations. First, it may occasionally generate incorrect information, may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content, limit the knowledge of world and events after 2021. So if it's historical, exactly like Prof. Tengku mentioned just now in his example, if it's before 2021, ChatGPT are not that clever to analyze history. That's why we have a lot of misinformations when it comes to historical event. And how, again, now we're going to the, how can we use this in classroom? One of the things that emerged in one of the feedback from the students during pandemic was a lot of instructions when it comes to assignments was not clear, or how the lecturers actually mark the assignments was not clear. So in this case, apparently many of our colleagues have difficulty constructing rubrics. So if you feel that there's so many websites on developing rubrics, how can I use ChatGPT to help me develop my own rubric? You can actually use that ChatGPT here. For example, let me just use a few texts that I have prepared here. For example, I want to, oops. Okay, so this is what happened if you leave the platform open too long. It's been waiting for my queries. Okay, let me just go back again. Okay. 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 Just when you need it. Is it still showing?
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Yes, you just have to click on
Yeah,
the...
Yeah, it does. I've been working with this since morning. It was working fine. This is, I think ChatGPT can be nervous as well. So you can try. So for example, you can create rubric. It will tabulate the items. Okay, so just, okay, let me just try and open again. Okay. My goodness. Okay. Anybody managed to? Not sure what happened with mine today, or maybe I should open in different screen. Okay. Apparently, there's a lot of people using it at the moment. Okay. Let me just stop this one. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, so usually you will be required to sign in, but if you are signing in using your Gmail or any email will do, it doesn't really check the credentials just to make sure that you are not the robots testing or another robots. Okay, so this is the example. Okay. So as you can see in here, we can actually create a rubrics because as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that mostly referred by the students when it comes to the challenges in working with the assignment is the lack of instruction. So if you have this rubric, then I'm very sure that you can actually use the rubrics and you can actually implement this. If you're using iTalim, you can implement the rubrics right away in iTalim. So the students, when developing the assignments, they know how they will be assessed. And of course, this is not the only way to develop the rubrics. If you have, especially if you have specific category, let me just give you some other examples. Okay, so if you want to use some additional categories, you can actually have it in tabulate form. Let me see whether I can find, but if it's not, let me just proceed with the next one first. Another thing that usually we are having issues with working with student assessment is on giving feedback. And we can actually learn from how ChatGPT provide feedback. So let me just copy and paste one essay. Okay, so let me pick example of bad essays. So it actually mentioned as bad essays in the website, but see whether ChatGPT can identify whether it is really a bad essay. Okay, so let me just copy and paste here. Okay, so in the websites, if you Google it, bad essay, you will find one essay, website from a university highlighting these are the example of bad essays. And the particular problem with this bad essay is that the writings is using vague sentences. If we have a look here, apparently ChatGPT also highlights the problem with this sentence is vague and lacks of clear focus on the intended discussion. So it's kind of like converge into one directions. The issues, the problem is that the sentence is not clear. So we can actually learn from here and we give feedback to the students, or even you can actually have the students to sit down with you. These are my assessment. This is you can actually use ChatGPT to see whether your sentence is actually clear. But my feedback is this blah, 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 and then similar to what we found in ChatGPT. How do you think we can actually improve it? Then let's ask the students to process these informations, because retrieving is easy. Processing is what is difficult and very unique and very important today. So I think we can bring that kind of way of learning to the students. Another thing that I do in the class is that if we have a particular scenarios or cases, I will retrieve this. So I got this from the ChatGPT, for example, about the issues of data because I'm teaching data analytics for business. I highlighted the issues of why businesses are not really using the data properly. So I get some information from ChatGPT. These are what I got from ChatGPT. You don't have to search for it. You are more than welcome to search for it if you want to get more information. But I got this from ChatGPT. Go and see Google and use the information that you get from Google to sort of corroborate or contrast the data, the information that you get from here. What have you learned from the process? What are the things that would influence you to shift your opinion from A to B because of the information that you get from ChatGPT is inconsistent from the one that you get from Google? So all these kind of things, I think we can highlight, we can help the students to make use of the information proportionally and professionally. So this is another thing that we can actually use in the class. Another thing that perhaps I can highlight is on the, just now the concept is on producing paper with ChatGPT, right? If we have a look here, this is say I asked the students to create a paper on ChatGPT, how it actually affects the education sectors and use the in-text citations and include a reference sections. Yes, it can actually produce a paper with the citations and references. Okay, and I think it will take a while. So as you can see in here, it produced a paper. So if you only look for product without the process of, just now Prof. Tengku put it very nicely on the creativity part, whether the students can actually internalize this, then the product is there. Even before ChatGPT, the students can easily copy and paste if they want to. But now I think what matters is how they use these tools to assist the learning process, because it is very beneficial for the learning process. For example, just now, just yesterday, I was talking to the students about the issues of quiet quitting in the business, how it actually affects the productivity and whatnot. They never heard such term. So when they use this, it can actually summarize, for example, what is quiet quitting. It actually gives an overall overview of the concept, but okay, so then you can actually ask them, now let's Google it, see what are the most common organizations that highlight that this is an issue. So again, we give them the opportunities to actually understand the term and then bring them to the most reliable, more reliable information where they can actually assess the source rather than just the information that they receive. Assessing the source is one of the most critical skills, analytical thinking, right? Because you have to assess, you have to analyze whether this organization is credible enough to say anything about this term, or providing data with based on the previous research. So all these kind of things is the thing that we can actually use in ChatGPT. And absolutely, as much as we are skeptical with this, I think we also have to start to open our mind how we can learn these tools before we can ask the students to master the tools with for the right purpose as well, inshallah. And I'm very much, as much as I think it is possible that the students are never heard, just now Prof. Nazrul mentioned about that. I've heard quite interesting finding, because interesting informations from social sciences students that they've been using it for quite some time. So I'm not really convinced that many students are new to this, but whether they have been able to use it meaningfully, I'm worried on that. Yeah, but I'm not really worried whether they haven't heard about this, because the fact that even those informations come from social sciences students, I'm very sure the words travel, and I think when the platforms are not new to them, putting meanings is much more critical now. I think that's from me. Now, if any questions, you're more than welcome to unmute before we conclude the sessions. Okay, any other questions before we conclude? Yeah, so Prof. Man mentioned about the ChatGPT inconsistent. Of course, exactly like Prof. Tengku mentioned just now, how it actually connect the informations, it depends on when, how, and so on. So in this case, I think relying on ChatGPT to give accurate informations, absolutely not an option, because I've tried on myself. In the morning, I was IUM staff. In the afternoon, I was, I don't think, I was an entrepreneur. In the evening, when I tested, I'm a UTM staff. So same platform, three different Mira, yet it was Mira Kartiwi. So I'm not sure how many Mira Kartiwi in this world, but absolutely a different kind of stories, morning, afternoon, and evening. Okay, so I think that's why we have to be careful, allow the students to criticize and analyze the information given. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, so if there's no questions, I would like to request for concluding remarks from the two honorable speakers. MashaAllah, Jazakumullah khair, Prof. Tengku and Prof. Wahab. Perhaps we can start with Prof. Tengku first. Any concluding remarks, Prof?
I think I will continue using ChatGPT because it's fun. Some of the information it can quite easily it can retrieve for us, but we got to make decision. Okay, we got to analyze, we got to read it. We cannot just cut and paste. There's no way. Yeah, the ethic is already wrong, cut and paste. And there are also other tools. Google will be there maybe for a longer period. Yeah, use Google, use ChatGPT, whatever tools available. But of course, I think ChatGPT will be improved later on. With all the shortcomings we mentioned, it will be improved later on. So be positive with it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Tengku. Prof. Wahab.
Yeah, I think the tool is there. There will be more and more complicated, more advanced tools. It may include emotions, but rather than fighting the tools, we should be utilizing it. You should be made aware, that our teaching methodology, the way we assess our student, we cannot use this old thinking anymore. Cannot. We have to change our mindset. We have to be forward-looking. And our students are university students. Treat them as university students. Don't go for this MCQ and so forth. I don't think that is the direction we go. There are more to it, than assessment. We assess because we want to know how much the student has learned, rather than we assess because we want to penalize the student. I think we want to know how much. And if the student don't learn that much, why are they not learning that much? Can we improve our teaching method or their learning skill in this particular case to ensure that everything is aligned so that everybody can move forward? Let's move forward, rather than always thinking about what we have before, so there are more to it that we can benefit from this technology. Make sure we benefit from them rather than we fight against them. Thank you very much, and all the best for all of us.
Thank you very much, Prof. Dato Tengku, Prof. Wahab, for the very interesting session. It's very inspiring, very educating. So I'm very sure now we have seen the concept behind it, the use of it, and just know the example of how to use it. There are many references on how you can actually use it again in the class. But please don't stop here. And I really hope that this is not a sufficient, you don't feel enough, you don't feel sufficient with the information we shared. This is a trigger, a stimuli for future learning, for more learning. But Prof. Tengku and Prof. Wahab have given a very fundamental information that you can progress from there. So thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair. It's a pleasure to have both of you, and it's an honor, Prof, to have both of you today with us in this session. May Allah rewards you with much greater rewards, not only you, but also your family and all of us, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum wa ahlikum jami'an. Jazakumullah khair. Let's end the session with tasbih kifarah and salatul as. Subhanallahumma bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri inna insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus solihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Again, thank you so much, Prof. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.